We're pleased to welcome now Nellie Neal, the Garden Mama, host of the Garden Mama Show here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Garden Mama, always good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so happy to have an opportunity to present you with tickets for you and your wife to the fantastic Fondren Bottle Tree Garden Tour. One of the reasons I brought these instead of just telling you about it is because they are a gift from my friend Steve Ziske at Lakeland Yard and Garden.
Fantastic.
This is the coolest ticket also. I've never been on the VIP at a rock concert, so this is about the coolest one that I've ever had. So these are for y'all.
Fantastic.
Steve has been, they have been supporters of mine since I got here in the 90s, in print, in media, and everything that I've ever done. And it's just such a joy to be able to celebrate all that with them this weekend. They are definitely my neighborhood's favorite garden center at Lakeland. So.
I'm a customer. I'm a regular customer.
We all give them, the thing is we find what we want and then there's more. And that's the kind of place you want to go.
That's exactly right. No, they do a great job. They always have.
So they're sponsoring us. We've got 20 homes on the tour. This is the third annual Bottle Tree Garden Tour. And it's a big deal. I'm very happy to be a little piece of it.
Okay, so the bottle tree. So my wife's from Biloxi, and her mother was an avid gardener and had bottle trees in her yard. And there's some legend or something associated with it.
There are a few. The one that we have chosen to latch on to.
Which one are we talking about?
It's about capturing spirit. It's also about quite frankly, putting color in your garden all year round. You don't necessarily have anything. You got blue and red bottles on a tree. You've always got something to look at. But it's really about that capture of the spirit and the notion that we all need to have a place that we can be slightly more meditative, maybe slightly more aware of what's around us. And the bottle tree kind of coalesces all of that energy.
Okay.
I'm not the person who brought them to our neighborhood, of course, but I am happy to be part of that celebration.
That's cool. Not to be confused with something I have in my garden, in my landscape, the bottle brush tree.
Love those.
Aren't those beautiful?
Beautiful plants.
Different colors. The flower itself does resemble a long bottle brush.
Really does.
That's where it gets its name.
It absolutely. We name plants. The plants don't call themselves this. It's kind of like how we name our dogs. My dogs. But we call them because that's how it looks.
Yeah.
That's why one of the best native shrubs that we have is called strawberry bush and wahoo and hearts a bustin' and all of these things. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's just a lovely plant that breaks open its pods and therefore exposes red seeds. So of course that's hearts a bustin'. And there are, you look at it, you go wahoo, so it's called wahoo. But it's just funny how we name things.
Yeah.
It's
what about muley grass? Where did it get its name?
Muhlenbergia is its formal name. I have to presume it's named for the person who originally sorted it out and named it.
Okay.
Because who's going to call something? I don't know of a word that means that, It is a beautiful grass, though.
It is.
And when we see that pink flower in the fall, we know that actually summer's done. We're going to get it'll be Christmas eventually,
And is that one that's like every other year? It's biennial?
It depends on how the weather goes and if you prune it. When we had such a terribly dry summer, hot summer, dry fall, a lot of them didn't do anything at their first opportunity last year.
Yeah.
But this year things are a little better because we've had some water.
Some rain.
They are a native plant. They're not native to the savanna. They're native to our part of the world.
Okay.
So they can take a little bit more dampness than other plants.
I don't want to dwell on that particular variety. I don't remember there being that prevalent when I was growing up. It seems like in recent years, landscape architects are beginning to include
There's
them.
always a search for more plants to put in the palette, and there's also more maybe since the 21st century, there's more emphasis on native plants, which we used to kind of take for granted. And at the same time, there are always plants that we've just learned how to propagate.
Okay.
So if somebody figures out how to propagate something and they can make thousands of them, it's a lot easier to put them in the market.
Well, I wonder if that's the situation with sort of this conversion we've seen from knockout roses, which were very popular in the garden 10, 15 years ago. Now it's drift roses.
Yes, there's a place for both of them.
Okay.
I think knockouts were dare I say this, slightly oversold as being no maintenance, and they really
that's not true.
They really are not no maintenance, and neither are drifts.
That's right.
But the drifts will be a little bit better behaved with less maintenance.
Well, they don't get leggy like the knockouts do. The drifts tend to stay low profile, and I think that's why they're so neat in the landscape.
I think they have that, and they do tend to bloom a lot.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
What else in the fall are we looking at?
Well, if you can get past the pumpkins and the corn stalks and the sugar cane, we actually have a lot of really pretty things. I know people don't consider goldenrod to be a pretty plant, but those of us who like it do. And it goes along with ironweed and boneset and some of the other things that we see next to the side of the road that are not there, apparently, until now. And when you have to look, though, it's October. I just got pansies this week.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's not native to anywhere. The ones I have, they're native, of course, to Asia somewhere. But they have been so bred and so overdone that we go buy them in school colors now and just plant them.
That's right. They're beautiful, though.
They're just
you got to have those in
and the mums are lovely, too, but I'm a pansy person, so that's fun for me.
So is my wife. She likes the one, as she says, with the faces in the middle.
Those are fun. I have some of both.
Yeah.
I think there's so much that we associate with that. My mother bought pansies. They didn't sell them to you in containers. They sold them to you wrapped in paper, like you would buy onions.
Okay.
And so I've had to take those apart and plant them and everything, and I always like the ones with the faces better.
Yeah. Julie likes those as well. But, of course, snapdragons.
Now.
Got to have those in the
Wonderful.
fall.
I'm in search of the trailing ones. I really like snapdragons, but I like tall snapdragons, and I like the ones that fall out of the container because they're just a little bit different. The ones that are the border plants are beautiful, and I can't grow them worth a darn. They always end
They're
up...
a little toothy.
Well, tookie's a good word for it. Either I'm not paying enough attention or
finicky.
too much or something. I don't know, but they don't do as well for me. The tall ones, however, are...
The rockets, I think is what they call them, right?
That's a great variety.
Yeah, that is. And those grow pretty well in the ground, has been my experience.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
They sure do.
They don't have to necessarily be in pots, but they seem to thrive in the ground. Either way, that's right. You got to have those. And then dianthus.
Well, and I'm such a dianthus nut that I had to walk away from the table full of them at Lakeland the other day because there was about to go.
Had a great selection.
I don't have any more time to do all this. But it's a plant that if you like the way carnations smell, and you think that that's a pleasant, you're going to love dianthus because they're going to smell that way, but they're going to be in your garden or in the containers or when you cut them for the vase. They're delightful plants. There's several that I really like. I like Telstar for a ground cover in the bed because it's almost indestructible. But some of these other ones that are tall and have the fancy flowers.
Amazon, I think they call them.
Amazon, I love that.
Which is,
like we need
they're going to be like 3 feet.
Amazon.
Exactly.
They will be. They'll be 3 feet tall, and their flowers are about 6 inches across.
They're pretty cool.
They're really loud.
They make, I like to use them in pots, is kind of in the rear for the taller.
They make a lot of noise.
Yeah,
they're wonderful.
It's pretty cool. Something I've seen being used more in the fall that you typically think about as an annual in the spring are petunias, and they thrive in the fall.
I was going to tell you that petunias are in the plant world of annuals in that 3 or 4 inch pot. Petunias are trying to take over the world. They used to only bloom in the spring and in maybe the fall.
Right.
And then they'd burn up in the south in the summer. Well, then we had the wave petunias and all those things, and they started breeding in the heat tolerance. Well, now they've got the cold tolerance.
I didn't know that.
There's a lot of varieties out there, and they really do. Ball Seed particularly has done a beautiful job of just trying to make sure we know we can grow those almost all year round.
They're beautiful.
They're lovely, and the flowers themselves are pretty long-lasting.
Yeah.
The classic petunia that comes from Mexico, that's the parent of all of these, has a little flower about as big as my little finger, and it drops off after 30 minutes. But the new ones last, and they'll take the weather too.
What about the Bottle Tree Festival in Fondren?
So much fun. Tomorrow morning, the Garden Mama Show will be live at Fondren Yard, 8 o'clock in the morning. Come on. You can pick up your tickets there, which you can order at fondrengardentour.com.
That's going to be cool.
We're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me come talk about it.
Yeah, it's awesome, and we appreciate all you do to inform Mississippians about all the joys of gardening. I'm a fan. It's therapy for me, and it has been for a long time.
It's
never cared about it.
It's absolutely work-life balance.
I guess about 20 years ago, dealing with all the business stress, there's nothing I like more than to get home sometimes late at night and I've got sound around my pool deck and a bunch of pots and landscape areas, and just play in the dirt. It's great stress relief, isn't it?
It's really good for us.
And it's just fun. I like, it's rewarding to see your work pay off, and you create these beautiful
and they
landscapes.
Don't talk back.
That's right. They don't talk back. They don't get mad. And it's kind of fun, though, isn't it?
And you know what? If you mess it up, you can put that one under the bench and work on something else. It's a lot. There's a lot to be said for gardening.
Yeah. But this, of course, the April-May time frame is fantastic in Mississippi. But late September through November, December is equally.
This is prime time for me.
Yeah, I love it, too. And it's not quite as exhausting when you're working in 70 to low 80-degree temps as it is when it's 90-something. Well, Garden Mom, appreciate you coming on, and I know it's going to be a great event tomorrow, the Bottle Tree Festival in Fondren. What are the times for that?
I'll be there at 8 o'clock to 10, and then the programs and everything are there. The garden tours begin at 10 a.m.
Sounds great. Folks, we're coming right back in the Element Wealth studio. Stay with us.